Let it be known, Crystal Beast is finally no longer just a meme archetype, despite how much it tries to be. You guys know Rainbow Dragon? I learned of a very interesting restriction today. This card requires 7 Crystal Beast monsters on the field or in the graveyard in order to special summon it, 7 with different names. If you have 8 with different names, it won't summon. You need exactly 7. Did the designers of this card just think they were never going to print Crystal Beast monsters ever again? Like, why? And still, no matter how hard this archetype tries to be shit, thanks to the addition of this brand new skill, it is now completely and utterly broken. Let me show you. So here's today's deck list. And just a reminder before I get into the deck list, if you guys are enjoying today's video and want to see some more content just like this in the future, or more videos from me in the future, please remember to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel down below. Alright, let's jump into this deck list. Alright, so first things first, you might notice with this particular deck list, there's only 19 cards. The reason for that is I want to point out that during the replays you'll see in this video, I was playing multiple copies of the Golden Rule and eventually cut it for a Storm. The reason is, I don't really see the point of playing 2 Golden Rule in this particular list because I'm just not playing enough Crystal Beast. You never really get to use the second one basically ever. The only upside is, if you open the Golden Rule, it saves your skill search to search for the trap card instead. But if you just didn't play this and played a tech card instead, who cares about searching for the Conclave? You've got a tech card which basically could do the same job, so I don't really see the point of playing the 2 copies of it or multiple copies of it with this list. If you're playing a bunch more Crystal Beast names, it makes a lot more sense as you can use this multiple times in a game. But when you're only using it one time and yeah, it doesn't make much sense, probably play something like a Storm or some other tech card instead. So yeah, just watch out during the replays. If you're wondering why I'm playing multiple, I eventually cut it because I literally never used the second one ever. So what exactly is new with Crystal Beast? Well, this archetype got 3 brand new supporting cards, all of which absolutely sensational for the archetype. Starting off with your Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon. This card has the standard Crystal Beast effect, where when it's on the field, if it's destroyed, it can go to the spell and trap card zone if you want it to, and then it has a whole bunch of other effects. The first one is, if you battle with a Crystal Beast monster, you can special summon it from your hand, which you don't do too often, but considering it's a 3000 attack monster, that is a very big body to summon to the field, so sometimes you just cheese wins just by doing that alone. The other effect is the more used effect, where when it's in the spell and trap card zone, you can banish it to summon a Crystal Beast monster straight to the field, and in doing so, can also search for your Rainbow Dragon. But keep in mind, that search is mandatory, so if you have Rainbow Dragon already in your hand, you won't be able to use the search effect, so keep in mind, a lot of the time, if you have this thing in your hand, you're going to want to go into this Link 2 first, get rid of this Link 2 to shuffle this card back into the deck list. I will sort of explain when to do that during the combo portion or during the replay portion anyway, but that's the main reason we're using this card. It's because this thing can just brick you sometimes, and this card unbricks you. Alright, next up we have the spell card, the absolute just custom card for this archetype. This thing takes 2 Crystal Beasts from your deck, place them in the spell and trap card zone, then revives a Crystal Beast from the graveyard, and thanks to your skill, you can very easily put a Ruby in your graveyard. And when Ruby special summoned, it summons Crystal Beast from the back row, so it just instantly summons you basically 3 monsters straight to the field from 1 spell card. It's absolutely insane. And of course, you can summon the Sapphire Pegasus back to the field and reload up those spell and trap card zones, so you'll see it during the combo portion, it's absolutely incredible. And the final new addition to the archetype is of course the boss monster, Ultimate Crystal Rainbow Dragon Overdrive. This thing takes 1 Ultimate Crystal monster plus 7 Crystal Beast monsters, but it's not fusion summoned. It must be special summoned from the extra deck during a duel you special summoned Ultimate Crystal monster, so basically your Rainbow Dragon, by banishing the above monsters from your field and or graveyard. So you'll see how to summon it during the replay portion, but you just want to load up your graveyard with all your stuff, make sure you've summoned this thing and you've put it in the graveyard or had it on the field, wherever you want to, and then you can just slam this thing straight on the field. And then when this thing's on the field, it has a whole bunch of effects. First of all, while 7 or more of your Crystal Beast monsters of different names are banished, this card gains 7,000 attack. If this card has not battled this turn, quick effect, you can tribute this card, shuffle as many cards on the field as possible into the deck, and if you do, special summon any number of your banished Crystal Beast monsters. So basically, this thing's on the field, you can use it to just wipe the entire field, and then summon back any of your banished cards, which typically means you can summon back 2 copies of your Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon to 3,000 attack bodies straight to the field, and summon back a copy of something like a Pegasus or something. So you're not leaving your field empty, despite wiping your own field. You've got 2 big beaters, and your opponent has, or 2 big beaters and a small beater, and your opponent's going to have absolutely nothing. So it's a crazy card, and the cool thing about it is, you're going to be able to summon multiple of these a duel. You will see that during the replays often as well. Once you've wiped the field, most of the time, you can just summon out another one. Just because this thing summons back resources, it just gives you enough to summon out another one, so you'll see that anyway. And the final thing to talk about with this deck list is of course the skill. This skill allows you to send 2 Crystal Beast monsters from your hand straight to the graveyard, to then send 2 Crystal Beast monsters from your deck straight to the graveyard, and then search for 2 Crystal Spell and Trap cards. Absolutely crazy, sends 4 cards to the graveyard and searches for 2. Just ridiculous. And then it has a bonus effect where if you're going second and your opponent has a card on the field, you can place one of your Crystal Beast Spell and Trap cards straight to your field by revealing a copy of your Crystal Beast, wherever it is, your Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon in hand, which is the main reason we're playing 3 of it, mostly because you want to use the skill going second. Otherwise, I'd probably be playing 2, but it's a fantastic going second card purely because of the skill. Alright guys, that's going to do it for the deck list portion of the video. The rest of the video gameplay showcasing the deck list in action. Without further ado, let's check out some gameplay. Alright, today I've got a whole bunch of replays to share with you guys. I think I've got 8 replays to show today, which is quite a bit more than normal considering the length of these replays is also quite long. But I wanted to show off a good combination of going first, going second, and also showing off the 2 different end fields this deck can make, because I wanted to show off both of them. One of them's anti-graveyard, and one you make when you don't want to deal with graveyard because your opponent hasn't got any graveyard cards. So yeah, let's just check it out. Unfortunately, these replays were only gathered in Platinum. That's because obviously the season just reset, so most people are only in Platinum. But I can guarantee you, if you want to get King of Games in this deck, you 100% could. Whether or not it's a tournament level deck list, I have no idea. But in terms of just ladder gameplay, it's easily going to show on the ladder if you just get good at playing the deck. So let's check it out. Alright, so most of these replays are going first, I'm pretty sure. Not because this deck is necessarily bad at going second, it's just I wanted to show off going first, so it's more interesting. Alright, I want to show off the combo a lot. So first and foremost, if you ever get a copy of Crystal Bond in your hand, that is fantastic, because it's basically a 1-card combo for this deck, because it puts 2 Crystal Beasts on the field, or 1 on the field and 1 in your hand, which gives you 2 materials to use with your skill. Send the 1 on the field, send the 1 in your hand, search for your 2 spell cards. So get your leveling up, get this guy to level 40, if you're Jesse, to get this card. Alright, Crystal Bond, of course, going to be summoning out 2 cards from our deck, or placing them in the Spell and Trap card zone, and summoning out the Ruby, whatever the hell this thing is, that we sent to the graveyard with the skill, and special summoning it. Alright, summoning these 2, grabbing 2 dudes. Alright, typically you just want to get 4 Pegasuses. Alright, making a Decode Talker. You'll notice I went into this link 2 first. That's because then I can draw a card and return it to my deck list. So we can potentially hit another tech card here or something, which we actually did, hit a Droplet. Beacon summoning the second Ruby to the field, summons the 2 dudes. Pegasus summons 2 cards, summoning a copy of your Rainbow Dragon and 1 of your Crystal Beast names. Rainbow Dragon banishing, making the Abyss Dweller. Making the Firewall Dragon. Summoning out the Rainbow Dragon. Now, very important to note with this card, as this will screw you up a lot. This card has a very stupid restriction on it. Basically, this thing can only summon itself to the field if you have exactly 7 different names. If you have more than 7, you won't be able to summon it to the field. So keep that in mind. It's a very stupid restriction, but it will screw you up sometimes. Keep that in mind. You can have multiple cards in the graveyard of the same name, but if you have 8 of different names, you won't be able to summon this thing. It's stupid. Just watch out for that. Anyway. Summon the Cerberus. I think that was my main loss condition with this deck, was the timer, and screwing up that one restriction, so. Also, I think I forgot to banish the amount to give this thing a boosted attack. I think I didn't banish all the different names. I think I left the turtle engrave or something. Yeah, I was meant to banish the turtle here, I think. Not that it really matters, because I'm going to shuffle this thing most of the time anyway. I think I forgot to do that multiple times. Not that it really matters. Alright, gonna negate his invoke just because, well, what's he gonna do if he's a Shaddoll deck that's been He's been a Beast Dweller, what's he gonna do? So, I was actually expecting him to negate my card there. He didn't even do that. I was gonna show off shuffling a little stuff into the field and summoning the dudes, but whatever. Alright. So if you're up against an archetype like Shadow, where you know they're using all the graveyard effects, typically just giving them an Abyss Dweller, they're gonna lose on their own, so... Alright, I think I go for Abyss Dweller versus this as well, because they have that annoying rank 8 that sums itself back. Or level 8 that sums itself back. Could have probably gone against the negate against this archetype too. I'm not really sure which one's better. Alright, once again, putting the 2 in graveyard. Ruby gonna be summoning the 2. Typically, you do not want to be sending your Crystal Beasts to the graveyard with the skill, because you want to summon them both to the field, otherwise you won't have enough names in graveyard to summon your big level, your big Crystal Beast later on. So if you ever got one in hand, you probably just want to summon it from your hand using one of the other Pegasuses, and you want to try to get other ones in the graveyard somehow. Alright, once again summoning the 2, summoning another 2 from the deck. Alright, there's the Abyss Dweller. Making the Elephant, searching for the Rainbow Dragon. Firewall. Once again, summoning Rainbow Dragon to the field. These two become your Nightmare Cerebus, and we have a Conclave to put on the field. Not sure if this started in my hand or if I searched for it, but I might have searched for it. Alright. And the cool thing about Conclave is, because when you shuffle the whole field back, if you put this one card back in your hand, and you summon it to the field, you will then have enough to summon out a second copy of your Overdrive, because you're literally only missing one more Crystal Beast name in order to summon out your second one. So, it's actually really useful having these 2 on field. Even a Droplet, because having this in graveyard also works. So just a Droplet, put this in graveyard, does the same thing. Alright, he's going to negate my Abyss Dweller of all things. And that's the only thing he decides to negate, which was very random. So I'm going to bounce 2 on the field. In hindsight, probably shouldn't have bounced this thing. I think I played against I think I got punished later on by bouncing the level 8 that can special summon itself on one of the other duels I played. Either way, summon back 2 3,000 attack bodies, making a Phoenix to clear up the field, so I can normal summon the Topaz Tiger, banishing the basically my entire graveyard and field to make a 11,000 attack second Overdrive. Alright. On replay number 3. Actually, one of the most satisfying boss monsters in the game to summon. Just that 11,000 attack monster that can nuke the entire field. It's just such a satisfying card in general. You don't often see monsters having an effect that gives them plus 7,000 attack. In a game where you've only got 4,000 life points. Alright, so this is a going second replay, I think. Probably the best second replay I had, just because most of the other ones were kind of mid. This is one of the very unoptimal opening hands for going second. No Droplet, and we opened the trap card, which is really annoying, because the skill, typically, if you have the Crystal Beast in hand, whatever the big one is, you can set the Conclave on the field, then use it during your opponent's turn to actually dodge disruption or deal with disruption before your opponent can use it. But if you open it, obviously you can't put it on the field with the skill. And no Droplet means I have literally none of my going second tools here. And you'll see I can still play quite well with it. Actually, this is a very good example, because it shows that this deck is actually fairly decent at going second compared to a lot of archetypes in this game. Even without the skill, you'll see. So, bring a bridge, grabbing my Crystal Bond. Crystal Bond going to be placing the dude on the field and searching for one. You'll see I place this card on the field, because it can just give me a free summon. Alright, dumping a couple, then we're going to send this to the graveyard or banish it to summon a Pegasus. Then by just normal summoning, I can now go into a... He's going to negate this for some reason. But now I can go into a copy of my... I'm going to this card first, if I wanted to. He just decides to tribute this. Unfortunately, those 2 cards have the same name. It was probably been better if I didn't have 2 Pegasuses, because then I could have tried to go for a Phoenix or go for a copy of Cerebus. But it's fine, because he for some reason used it on my Link too, which is great, because Golden Rule now summon 2, bring back, summon 2 to the field, grab a couple of boys. Right, now have the right amount of names to summon the level 7. So Nightmare Fiend, it's going to be removing a back row. And no matter what he destroys here, it's completely fine, because I can already just summon out Rainbow Dragon using the stuff in Graveyard. So I can just summon out my Rainbow Dragon, make another Link if I wanted to, make Cerebus to get rid of another card. And then just summon out my big boy. I think I once again forgot to summon... I forgot to summon ones with different names, or banish ones with different names. Not that matters, so I just remove the entire field, summon a bunch of dudes back, and yeah, he's just dead. Alright, so that was a really cool replay, considering I did all that without having to use, like, the actual going second tools this deck has. I just played, like... Yeah, I just played the deck normally. I just played it by using, like, other tools, rather than using droplets without using the skill. It just felt... without using the skill second part, anyway. Well, that was a very, very good example. Because most of the time, it's going to be a lot easier. And you'll see other going second replays here where I just activate one droplet, and the game's over, so... Alright, I do have a lot of high hopes for this deck. I think it might be fairly difficult against certain matchups. Like, it suffers a lot of the same problems that... Tri Brigade does, where if you get Effect Veiled on your Ruby, that's really annoying. If you get hit by the Lanciers, well then you can't banish anything for your big boss monster. And things like, yeah, I don't know, Crows to get rid of the specific amount of number in Graveyard so you can't summon your big boss, I don't know. There's a lot of hand trap and tech cards that really deal with this archetype very well, but yeah. I'm not sure how meta relevant it's going to be, but I do have some high hopes for it. Definitely good enough for the ladder. Alright, so we've seen all this stuff already. Grabbing the Pegasuses, making your Decode Talker. Crystal Beacon, summoning to the field, summoning 2 more. And this is still only one of the end fields, by the way. I don't show the other end field to the final 2 replays. Alright, these two become your Firewall. Making your Rainbow Dragon. Cerberus. If you're wondering, by the way, why we put this on the field, a lot of people don't realize this because they forget. This card isn't just a removal source. They have, just like all the other Nightmare cards, they have other effects when they're co-linked. This one, when they're co-linked, it stops co-linked monsters being destroyed by card effects. So it basically makes this thing immune to things like Dark Hole, which is a fairly popular card on ladder. So making my Firewall immune to Dark Hole, as well as co-linking it, is a pretty good effect to have. A lot of people forget the Nightmares actually have really good co-link effects as well. Once again, forget to banish 7 names. I do that so often. Pretty sure I could just banish the total here, I would have 7, right? Easily would have had 7. Alright. So Firewall gonna bounce 1, Conclave gonna bounce the other. Mistakenly, stupidly, I bounce this card, which makes no sense to do so. So my opponent can summon it from hand. Yeah. But that doesn't matter, because we can just nuke the field anyway. Get it all out of here, and summon a whole bunch of dudes back. Alright, and we do a bit of BMing too. Get rid of my entire field to summon this card, and yeah, he's just dead. Alright. Final 4 replays, and I think these next 2 are going second, and the final 2 are the other Tom on board setups, if I remember correctly. I think that the final 2, or the next 2 going second replays aren't particularly exciting, it's just, I need to show going second because people want to see going second with it, but there's not really, most of the time it's just I activate Droplet, and your opponent's like, oh, shit. So my opponent just sets a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, this guy had a really bad field, but yeah, going second replays was scarce, so I just kind of took whichever ones I had. At least this shows off the skill effect, right? Yeah, the skill effect put Conclave on the field. Then I can use Crystal Bond to put 1 on the field, so I can bounce this back row. Now he has no disruption left outside of what potentially is in his hand. So I can basically just do the full setup you've already seen a billion times, so fast forward a little bit. Alright, summoning the 2 back row, making the Cerberus to pop a card, making the Decode Talker, Crystal Beacon, summoning the Ruby, summon the 2 dudes, Pegasus, grab the 2 cards. All stuff you've already seen. Making the Abyss Dweller in case one of these things is an annoying trap effect, or this card is an annoying effect when it's in Graveyard, because I don't know what it is. Making Firewall, which I can actually just bounce this thing now. can pop this card. It's not going to have any effect because it's under Abyss Dweller anyway, or will be under Abyss Dweller. Alright, bouncing this thing and he's just dead. This thing again should have more attack than this, but whatever. I think this is like every replay. I didn't give this thing the attack boost it's meant to have. Because I'm pretty sure you're meant to have it have the, you're meant to have it with 11,000 attack on field. Alright. I never really remember it or worry about it because I'm shuffling it away most of the time anyway. But yeah, I probably should make sure I got the correct banished cards. It's more important to have the 2-3,000 attack cards banished anyway. Making sure you got those two banished, you can summon them back. That's the important part. Alright, Maid gonna be searching for the changeover. I'm still not very sure on Dragon Maid. I don't think I'm gonna make a video on it, and I don't... maybe I'm completely just like... don't really understand, but it doesn't really seem that great to me. At least from what I'm faced. Maybe people just aren't playing it correctly. Alright, just gonna be negating this card. Negating this is fantastic, by the way, because this thing can't actually use this as part of its effect, because it needs to return to hand to use the effect of the trap card. So I'm like, alright, well, this game's over. I think I just do very stock standard Crystal Beast stuff. Exactly the same you see in all the other replays. Summon 2, Pegasus summon 2, or equip 2. Decode Talker, summon 2. Alright, make myself an Abyss Dweller. He tries to use the effect, but as you can see, when it goes back, nothing happened because it needs to go back to hand. Firewall, can bounce a card if I want to. Don't think I even bother. Could even just swing with this for lethal, so he just concedes. Alright, final 2 replays. And now we're showing the other end board for this deck, which I actually think I like this end board more because it's safer against Droplet and it's safer against Eclipse, which are both incredibly popular cards right now. So I think I like this more. It's obviously it can be killed by Dark Hole, and you don't get the graveyard negation. But I think being safe to Eclipse is so goddamn good. Since everyone and their mother has Eclipse and Droplet now, especially after the new box. So it starts off mostly the same, sending the cards to the graveyard, golden rule, blah 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 blah. All standard stuff, nothing different. Until we get to the Link summoning. So, unfortunately, the other downside of this is you do use up most of your extra deck to do it, because you need to get extra Link monsters on field to summon the card that can only be summoned using Link material, that is, Link monsters. So from here, I'm now going to make the Firewall, summoning your cards in the field, making my first Link 2, which is going to be your Barren Blossom. Summoning Rainbow Dragon, this will then become another Link 2, which is Cerebus. These two then become your Dryer, whatever the hell this thing's name is. Still can't pronounce this thing. Your Sun Avalon. And then setting the trap card. Alright. And you also notice because of how we can also order this in different ways. Like if you already had the Bloom in hand at some point, you could probably order this in a way where you can try to shuffle the trap card back, and then you would still be able to. Or you can just set the trap card on field and use it without even searching for it. But this shuffle back is so useful when you have so many different bricks in this deck. There's definitely different ways you can order things. You could even summon this Link 2 right at the start of the combo before you go into the Link 3 earlier, the Decode Talker, and then you could have shuffled back the trap card then use a different combination of Link 2, so we still had an extra Link 2 in here, to still end on this end field, and potentially draw into an extra tech card or something. If anything of what I just said made any sense whatsoever. I'm just rambling in half of these videos. Alright, Firewall, I thought Firewall could target... Okay. I thought Firewall could target any card, including back row. I kind of forgot it could only target... Yeah, only target monsters, so this is a bit embarrassing. Was trying to target the back row here, because I wanted him to force it out, so then I could negate this thing. That's fine, whatever. Changeover making the Xiao, whatever it is. Hospitality, reviving. He tries to use this thing's effect. I, of course, I use this thing's effect to try to shuffle the field. He's going to use this in response, which then I'm just going to use the Droplet, and because I know he's got a trap card here, I'm going to send my other trap card to the graveyard so he can't respond with it, And his entire field's getting shuffled, and he cannot respond. Stunning back my 3000 attack dudes, and yeah, he's done so. Alright. So that's the other end field you can make with this. Like I said, immune to, or very safer into things like Droplet, because Droplet negate the plant does nothing. You can still use the trap card to negate the field. And a lot safer against Eclipse, because you can't flip Links face down. Because Eclipse is really nasty against the other end field, because most of your disruption is only in the fusion and the bounce. And of course the Dweller Floodgate. But if your opponent is immune to Dweller, then you're just like getting your main boss monster flip down or negated. It's like, oh well, now I have like one bounce as my only disruption, so. Alright. So once again we're going to be setting up. I don't think this end field's even particularly good against Battle Chronicle, but I don't know what end field you're meant to do against Battle Chronicle. Maybe some end field that ends on the Decode Talker actually. Maybe I should try to build one. But this card's actually surprisingly good against specifically Battle Chronicles. Maybe I should have ended on this card somehow. It's probably pretty easy to do. Alright, making the Firewall. Fast forward a little bit. As you've seen all this now. Making this card. Making the Cerberus. These two become the Sun Avalon. Sun Avalon search the trap card. Gonna be potentially hitting another tech card too, maybe. Which we actually do, which is great. Set the two tech cards. Banishing a whole bunch and summon out the fusion. So we've got a bounce, a full field shuffle, a full field negate, and a Vin Droplet. Not a bad end field, honestly. Not a bad end field. Alright, gonna be negating that, of course. Don't want him getting his Dark Magician. Sets a couple of cards, and then we nuke the entire field during the end phase, and of course, yeah, he's done so. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I think tomorrow's video is probably going to be... I'm not sure. It's either gonna be Invoked, or I'm gonna try out some specific Gizmek variant. A lot of people are probably already predicting I'm gonna try to build, so we'll see how that goes. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you see the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob? Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis. Oh.